Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Patreon-sponsored review time again. So, Space Jam 2 was a thing. I didn't see it. I have no interest in it, and frankly, the original was pretty much just amusing in that its website stuck around for so long. The important thing here is that Warner Brothers sometimes likes to mix up its properties, especially as shown with Space Jam 2. Also, there's a Space Jam comic adaptation. And in 2017, someone apparently remembered, hey, Warner Brothers owns both DC Comics and Looney Tunes, right? Let's do some crossovers. And that's what they did. Stories where a stylized version of the Looney Tunes characters appeared in the main DC universe. Particular praise was given to one of the ones that we're looking at today. Batman and Elmer frickin' Wabbit season Fudd. And yeah, naturally someone was going to ask me to cover something as bizarre as one of these, and in particular that one. The patron actually wanted me to do several of them, but covering a 6-issue miniseries is a little different than 6 individual issues because it's all one story versus 6 stories with setup and backstory and etc. So we settled on doing 2. So let's dig into Batman and Elmer Fudd, and Catwoman and Sylvester and Tweety, and see how many more ands I can slip into this.
Welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. What's with these awkward subjects? What's all this art so rubbish? To anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he is a man who punch sporadically or grouch. Linkara, he has his own spaceship, but he's always on his couch. Linkara, ghosts, gods, a universe in flux. Linkara, this comic sucks. Linkara.
Reading from a trade, so no looking at the covers. We open in Gotham City with noirish narration from Elmer Fudd. Yes, seriously. Sometimes the rain comes down so hard you forget you've ever been dry. I mean, I want to make a joke, but what the hell can I say to top Elmer Fudd talking like he's a grizzled detective in a pulp novel? I try to see it, out there in the past or in the future. Rainbow's waiting. Going into Porky's that day, I try my best to remember. I really do. Things weren't always this way. They won't always be this way. I try my best, and the water seeps in, molding my coat onto my shotgun. And I stop trying, and I head inside. People, we are only on the first frickin' page here! I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this! Well, I suppose there is one thing. If the rain's bothering your clothes so much, Mr. Fudd, might want to change them out. I know someone who can help. Porky's as a bar like this confuses me so much. Like, Elmer Fudd's a real person, but Porky Pig is a mascot character for the bar? Who designed the cartoon Porky for this sign? Is there an actual Porky here, or was this guy just really a big fan of 80s teen comedies? My name is Elmer Fudd. I'm hunting wabbits. Shh. I know you're just doing the quote, Elmer, but is it really necessary to shush us when you're doing narration? And we soon see that he is indeed hunting Bugs Bunny. Specifically, Bugs the Bunny. A guy eating some kind of soup with a carrot in it. Also, we can see tonight's specials at Porky's, including Hassenpfeffer, banana cream pie, and Thuffer and Thuckatash. Okay, does Sylvester work at the bar? Why does he write the lisp out if the Looney Tunes don't exist in this universe? Anyway, Fudd sits down next to Bugs, and the two, of course, know the other. Didn't expect to see you here. Didn't expect to be here. Think I took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. You seem to take a lot of wrong turns at Albuquerque. Yeah, well, maybe they can finally get off their butts and fix their signage problem. One sign said the freeway exit went into the river it was next to. Fudd, you ever been to Albuquerque? Nope. Yeah, me neither. Alright, what about El Paso? Nope, but Linkara seems to think it's in New Mexico just like Albuquerque. Yeah, but that guy's got even worse geography skills than me. This is a very solemn panel about Bugs Bunny's awful sense of direction. Bugs wants to know if Fudd is here to kill him, which he admits to. I'm skipping a lot of the dialogue here because it's bizarrely poetic. This comic is like someone's dark AU fanfic, and that kind of makes it amazing. Sure, Bugs is not happy-go-lucky, easily tricking Elmer Fudd with smug satisfaction, but the wit is there, and this idea of moody, noirish Elmer Fudd played straight weirdly works. Can I tell you something? All I done, I never thought I'd catch it. Everyone catches it, Bugs. It ain't your fault. There was a bullet at the end of all our stories. I'd like to mention at this point that this story is written by Tom frickin' King, aka the writer of Heroes in Crisis and Batman the Gift. Apparently he needed the frickin' Looney Tunes to write compelling, moody dialogue. As the two drink, there's a little montage of other Looney Tunes characters at the bar, like Foghorn Leghorn and Yosemite Sam playing poker together, the Tasmanian Devil attacking a guy, Marvin the Martian getting drunk and talking about blowing up the world with his Illudium Q36 space modulator. Okay, that one we actually might want to be worried about. It's the DC universe. That's entirely a thing that could happen, and not just the ramblings of a drunk. God, we've even got Michigan J. Frog in this, as an actual frog in a top hat, though even he looks depressed. Anyway, Bugs admits to having killed a woman. Not surprising considering the amount of dynamite that gets thrown around in Looney Tunes, honestly. However, he wants to trade his life for the information on who hired him to murder the woman, eventually admitting that it was Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne. Ugh, we're gonna cut to Frank Miller's Vicky Vale going, "Isn't that cool?" any second now. Bruce Wayne. Hey, Elmer, you said it right. Good for you. He walks off, tossing a carrot at Bug's head. Heh, ain't I a stinker? Not yet, but keep up all that booze drinking and I'm sure you'll be pissing yourself soon enough. So the woman with the silver hair is actually an old love interest of Bruce's that pops up on occasion, Silver St. Cloud, and the one who was supposedly killed by Bugs. Elmer was developing a relationship with her, but she admitted that she can't be with him because she still loves Bruce. Also, something weird about this panel at the bottom. It kind of reminds me of a repeated shot that Greg Land likes to use. Weird. And now, Bugs claims that Bruce ordered Silver murdered. Watch, Bruce is just gonna say Daffy Duck is the one who ordered the hit and Elmer will just leave again. Fudd gets a job as a limo driver to one of the rich couples at a party Bruce is throwing and manages to get inside. I didn't grow up in the fancy of the city. I grew up in the dirt of the country. Yeah, but again, to cite that same Looney Tunes cartoon from before, you were also once a Canadian Mountie, so it's not like you've only done country work. You ate what you hunted. In duck season, you ate duck. In wabbit season, you ate wabbit. You also never checked local hunting calendars to determine when duck or wabbit season actually began or ended. Finding Bruce, he takes out his shotgun and fires at him, making the whole party scream in panic. His narration says that after he had basically hunted the forest to extinction, he became a hired gun to survive. He was only planning on retiring from that life when he met Silver St. Cloud. He departs the party, but of course Bruce was not unprotected and soon is chasing after him as Batman. God, rock and roll, one-face poodle, xenomorphs, VHS tapes, and now Elmer Fudd. I have a weird rogues gallery. He returns to his apartment and we see what exactly had happened. There's a massive pool of blood on the ground with a carrot in the middle of it. As Elmer gets himself together to leave again, there's a knock at the door. He goes out to the empty hallway, and Batman has snuck up behind him from inside his apartment. I'm trying out a new variation on knock-knock jokes. Wanna hear it? However, it seems Mr. Fudd is not a fool here, and he realizes Batman is behind him, attempting to shoot him, and even managing to get some hits off on him. Fudd says that Wayne deserved to die for killing Silver St. Cloud, and that naturally gets his attention. Silver St. Cloud? What do you know about Silver St. Cloud?
Why did you say that name?
They compare notes, and Fudd admits that he doesn't really trust Bugs, so they head back to the bar to get some answers. My name is Elmer Fudd. He's Batman. And we're hunting wabbits. So yeah, this woman just runs around in her underwear calling herself the White Rabbit and injecting Bane's venom formula into some of my villains. She's probably connected to this Bugs guy. When they enter, the Looney Tunes humans attack, not wanting Batman around, and it goes about as well as you'd expect, even adding in a Sylvester who's just A dude in a red and black striped shirt and beard. Feels like they kind of shrugged and didn't bother with half of these human designs for them. Not being wasted are the various jokes being thrown around at the characters as Batman and Elmer Fudd just beat the snot out of them. And I feel like an opportunity was missed here by not including twittering birds and star effects over people's heads. They grab Bugs and demand to know why he killed Silver St. Cloud, and it turns out he didn't. Silver is sitting at the bar nearby. She admits that she broke up with Bruce because at night his life was too dangerous, and the same was true of Elmer Fudd, given him being a hitman and all. As such, she elected to fake her own death to try to get him to not follow her, and had Bugs direct Fudd to Bruce Wayne, thinking that the two have a lot in common and thus they'd be able to work things out. Bet it would have been really unfortunate if Elmer Fudd had aimed at his head, as he is known to do. Somehow I don't think Bruce's face would have been as easy to correct. So she leaves, leaving the three behind. And so our story ends with them ordering carrot juice from Porky. All I know is everything has a season. You just gotta weed the sign. Duck season, rabbit season, and one day you woke up and you realize the season is yours. And then you turn. Not quite sure how that part works. There is a second story in the issue, also written by Tom King, but presented like a traditional Looney Tunes cartoon of Elmer hunting Bugs. Bugs claims it's bat season and uses the bat signal to summon Batman and get Elmer to repeatedly shoot him instead. It's pretty funny, but let's be real here. You guys wanted me to talk about the initial story, which is so bafflingly good. Like I said, it's more like a goofy alternate universe fanfic version of these characters done somewhat more seriously, and that's kind of what makes it so funny, especially with the reveal that Silver set it up just to break up with Elmer Fudd. Though admittedly that makes it come across like she's kind of a manipulative asshole. But hey, it's out of continuity and more about just fitting in with the noir aesthetics. It's so weird and yet so competently executed. But let's move on from there to Gail Simone's effort, wherein Catwoman meets Tweety and Sylvester. And naturally, a story about Catwoman meeting a putty tat and a tiny yellow bird begins with three witches gathered around a cauldron. I joke, but I could totally buy dark magic being responsible for a cartoon talking cat and bird suddenly hanging out with a thief. Actually, the witches are from one of DC's old horror anthologies, referenced in their initial dialogue. It's Midnight, the Witching Hour. Moarte looked at an issue of that a few years ago. They're at a big gathering of DC Universe magicians, particularly the witches, though Raven's presence kind of baffles me. I know over the years, especially thanks to the Teen Titans cartoon, they've pushed her into being a more generic magic user instead of just her empathic abilities, but, like, when did she start hanging out at stuff like this? Her backstory with Azarath and whatnot still happened, right? How does she know Zatanna, or Clarion the Witch Boy, or hell, Black Alice? That being said, Raven and Black Alice should totally hang out. The witches are all arguing about what to put in their stew for everyone. Cats or birds? And an old crone comes in to make a wager with the three about that, with us now cutting over to Gotham, where Catwoman is stealing a cat necklace from a museum, after having tied up and ball-gagged the guy who originally got the necklace on an expedition. Admittedly, that's probably how she got in here to begin with, but I do love the idea that she lured him up here on the promise of kinky sex, tied him up, and then got dressed in her Catwoman costume. Also, love how her feet were very clearly drawn as if she was going to be in high heels, but instead she's wearing more practical boots. And while some pointed out in the Hush review that they do stand around on their tippy toes for no reason sometimes, I get the feeling it's not while in the middle of a heist and while wearing treaded boots. Anyway, she makes her escape as a dimensional portal opens up and drops Sylvester down from the sky. Or that's Jason from Power Rangers having made a very wrong turn on his way back from the Beast Morphers crossover. What? I put a lot of work into that video, and it's the main reason why this one's late. Of course I'm gonna plug it. Catwoman quickly runs after the cat to save it, indeed managing to grab it out of the air and land on a roof with it. Well, hello, gorgeous. And that's when Catwoman called up Bruce to let him know that Hush has an even more convoluted plan. This is kind of what you'd expect more from a DC and Looney Tunes crossover. Dimensional portals, having the characters from one universe actually interacting with another. Though the more realistic depiction of a cat versus the traditional cartoony one does make it a bit difficult at times to make me remember, oh right, that's Sylvester. We cut over to Gotham's music district. No doubt home to that jazz club Batman got involved in back in that mini-series where he took on the jazz-themed supervillains. Add that to his enemies list too, come to think of it. Where Black Canary is apparently putting on a weird one-woman performance of her in a bizarre winged outfit, singing old Torch songs to a group of punks. Yeah, some of this deserves explanation. Recall that this takes place after the New 52 and DC Rebirth, where a lot of Dinah Lance's backstory got revised. But in particular, post-Rebirth, they made her the lead singer of a rock band called the Black Canary. Yeah, I think this is another one of those cases where I'm in the minority of fan opinion. I'm not particularly fond of this development. There's nothing wrong with it, it's just I always think of Dinah as one of the more seasoned superheroes in the DC universe, having been an active member of both the Justice Society and the Justice League, not to mention the Birds of Prey, almost to the point of her not really having much of a civilian life. It just feels out of character and unnecessary to me, but it's not something that breaks her character or anything, it just doesn't feel right to me. Anyway, apparently this weird-ass performance was her idea, wanting to try something new, and the audience is not taking to it. However, when she returns to her dressing room, she finds Tweety Bird. Oh, hello there. They didn't like you very much, did they? Okay, Dinah, be honest, this is not the weirdest thing you've ever encountered as a superhero. At Selina's apartment, she's trying to figure out what Sylvester is exactly. I'll have you know, Miss Prith, that I am 100% purebred, certified alley cat. I gotta get a publicist. Why the long stare, sister? Yeah, mostly she's remembering that Rick and Morty episode with a talking cat and wondering what sort of hellish backstory you have that explains why you can talk. Well, either that or wondering why you're voiced by Eric Roberts. While Sylvester explains to Selina that he's on a mission for the fate of the universe, Dinah changes and Tweety Bird is Tweety Bird about it. Ooh, you wearing a new outfit? It seems a little tight. Have you gained weight recently? You know, to be perfectly honest, I haven't watched a lot of Looney Tunes in a while. Nothing against it, just plenty of other stuff out there to watch, but, was Tweety Bird always this much of a dick? Because I feel like he was, but I just don't recall it specifically enough to be sure. Anyway, Black Canary soon grows tired of the bird's bullcrap and insists he tell her what this is all about. And so the two simultaneously explain the wager with the witches, even giving the two psychic visions of them to confirm it. Do you think this whipstick goes with my eyes? Boy, you sure have a lot of makeup for a lady your age.
No, you got a lot of mouth, and I got a lot of fists for your mouth.
God, to see Mr. T punch this version of Tweety Bird. Anyway, the two pairs intercept each other, with Catwoman and Black Canary directly fighting in a damn good fight scene spread out over 2 pages, while Sylvester takes the opportunity to stick Tweety in a sandwich to eat him. Black Canary makes him spit out the bird, but the distraction allows Catwoman to hit her with a trash can, knocking her out. As Catwoman takes Tweety away, we learn exactly what it was about the bet that was told to them. That if Sylvester loses, every cat or cat-themed being dies, while likewise every bird or bird-themed being like Dinah or members of the Birds of Prey will be killed if Tweety loses. Still, Dinah has Barbara Gordon call up as much backup as they can get. Dinah manages to intercept Selina on a rooftop. Ooh, you a bad lady. I bet you never marry Batman. Oh, deep cut, Gale, deep cut. However, Dinah wasn't the only one who called for backup. Selina apparently has Amanda Waller's phone number, so Catman and Bronze Tiger soon arrive to help her, as Hawkman and Hawkgirl show up to help Dinah. The fight just keeps escalating as more and more characters are drawn in. Starfire, since Tamaranians are descended from cats, Raven for the bird theme, Wildcat comes in and he tries to talk Dinah down because this whole situation seems manipulated, and the witches decide to up the stakes, wanting this whole thing to be a war instead of a squabble, so basically every cat and bird-themed character in the DCU shows up at once to fight each other. Sylvester gets a hold of Tweety, but fortunately Catwoman has someone show up who wants this whole thing to stop. The aforementioned Clarion the Witch Boy, who of course doesn't really want his own pet cat Teakle to be part of this. As such, everyone is brought back to the witches, and the old crone is revealed to be the Looney Tune Witch Hazel. It's not too late, Sylvester! Eat the bird! Win the war that has gone on for eons! Lady, you're despicable. despicable. Cats need no help to eat birds, but for now, only a fool fights in a burning house. Also, Tweety hits her with her own broom. Lots of strength in those wings. And it seems Dinah and Catwoman are fonder of the other animal, and thus Catwoman narrates how it ends. Turns out the witch's brew was actually a craft ale, so everyone got drunk. Black Canary went on tour with Sylvester and provided him with some sushi-grade fugu blowfish, and that poor cat certainly deserved it. And so our story ends with Tweety becoming Catwoman's sidekick on their own adventures. I've got to admit, the tiny little Catwoman mask on Tweety is cute. And like the Batman and Elmer Fudd one, there's a backup story done in a more traditional art style for the Looney Tunes, using Timverse designs for Catwoman and Black Canary and their bits. These comics are good, though of course they approach the material differently while still making it fun. With Batman and Elmer Fudd, it's more reflective of Batman's aesthetics. Dark, serious, and a bit violent, with the humor being found in transplanting goofy Looney Tunes concepts and references into that kind of setting, and making it work mostly because it recognizes how ridiculous that is and plants its tongue firmly in cheek. With Catwoman and Sylvester and Tweety, and Black Canary, it's a romp just like a Sylvester and Tweety cartoon, except in this case the escalation of attempts to get the bird come from the human side of things, just having fun and the actual characters providing the sort of commentary you'd expect from them. It is still so weird to see the two Looney Tunes drawn like this. It makes them completely unrecognizable, but it's understandable given how the aesthetics of the pure toon look wouldn't work with modern comic art. That fits in much better with the backup story, where the more stylized Timverse versions of the characters are themselves a bit more cartoony. Obviously not to the degree the Looney Tunes are, but you get what I mean. Overall, these are just silly stories not meant to be taken that seriously. Even if the Elmer Fudd and Batman one presents itself as serious. Still no idea why the hell this all happened, though. Next time, more Batman, as we journey back to the madness and goofiness of Batman Odyssey. But that's all, folks! Enter the log box of the damn bumper contest!
Hello my friends, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell for notifications on new video releases. If you'd like to support future videos, you can check out my Patreon or purchase a t-shirt via Teespring or Shark Robot. Thanks for watching!